The Honda CB Unicorn Dazzler, the twin brother of the original Unicorn, was meant to be a sporty alternative while still maintaining its commuter credentials and the typical Honda reliability. Siddharth has owned the Dazzler since 2011 and it is his primary motorcycle not just for the daily commute but also for long touring. He has visited places like Leh Ladakh, Kanyakumari and Goa, and 52,000 kilometers later, it still continues to be his trusted travel companion. Hello Siddharth, it's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Hi Aarti, it's wonderful to be here as well.
So Siddharth, could you please tell us about the Honda CB Unicorn Dazzler with your ownership experience?
Sure. So if I were to describe the ownership experience of this bike in one word, then it would be hassle-free. This bike is very easy to own and it doesn't ask much from its owner. For a normal owner, this will be a good point A to point B commuter. But for me personally, the ownership experience has been extremely rewarding. I have used this bike for commuting as well as touring and it has always given me whatever I have asked of it. Right from Ladakh to Kanyakumari, this bike has never thrown any tantrums, it has never broken down and it has always delivered when I needed the most of it. My confidence in the abilities of this bike has only increased since the day I bought it, be it on-road or off-road, in city or highway. The engine of the Honda Dazzler is the same basic unit which comes in Honda Unicorn. It's the same 149.1cc block. However, this came with higher lift camshafts and the engine was tuned to deliver a bit more power. The result was that this delivered slightly above 14 bhp in terms of power. Apart from that, the bike came with the analog plus digital console. So it had an analog tachometer and a digital speedometer, and personally for me that was my preference because I love seeing the needle rise up the tachometer. Apart from that, it also had minor conveniences like the digital clock and one of the other things which won me over was the design of the bike. It came with these bespoke saber tooth style tank extensions which I really liked. But the final reason why I went for this bike was actually Honda refinement and Honda reliability. During the course of my ownership of this bike, I have had actually only one problem. The battery which came with this bike from the factory was faulty and it failed within 6 months. So the Honda replaced the battery with a brand new unit because the battery was still under warranty by that time. So for me, that has been the only problem which I have faced with this particular bike. But some common problems which other owners face with this bike are basically the starter relay wearing prematurely. If you ride your bike frequently on bad roads, then the cone set needs frequent replacement, which is another issue. And finally, because this bike comes with an open chain of the O-ring seal type, so if it tends to get dirty with use. So if you are not on top of your chain maintenance, then you would face premature chain wear. Apart from these, I would say that this bike is pretty much the epitome of Honda reliability.
Alright, so how does it feel to ride this bike around, as in terms of handling, stability, braking and comfort?
So despite the upgrades that the Dazzler had over Unicorn, this bike is still built on the Unicorn chassis, which means the riding position is commuterish and upright. So therefore this bike will not set any racetrack on fire. But that said, the handling of the bike is neutral. Because of the wide handlebars, it tips over easily into corners, and once in a lean, it tracks true to wherever the rider wants it to go. Mid-corner bumps don't affect the stability much because of the well-damped front suspension and that lovely monoshock at the rear. The chassis of the bike is not very rigid, and advanced riders will actually detect chassis flex when they are transitioning from one side to the other. On the other hand, off-road handling is actually very good because of the light weight of the bike and because of the commuter riding position. You can easily stand on the pegs, on the foot pegs, and control the bike off-road. High speed stability of the bike on the highway around 80 km per hour is actually good because of the fatter rear tire as compared to the Unicorn. Undulations on the roads are also absorbed easily by the suspension. However, you would need to slow down for bigger potholes. In the braking department, this was one of the earlier bikes which came with a rear disc brake. and that too from Nissan. So the braking is actually very good. The rear disc brakes have good bite and they have good feel, which is generally rare for a rear brake. The front brakes, on the other hand, are made in India stuff, and I wish Honda would have provided Nissan calipers for the front as well. When the bike was new, the front brakes were good, but over time they have become spongy, and despite bleeding the brake fluid, the front brake lever has more travel than I would have liked. When you grab onto the front lever, the bite of the brake is good, but they are not progressive and they lack feel.
Okay, so how about the maintenance of this bike? Is it easy on the pocket?
So Honda recommends servicing the bike once every 3 months, and including the free services which I got with the bike, I followed their schedule for about 6-7 services and gave the bike to Honda authorized service center for its regular service. But these days I service the bike twice every year at my trusted mechanic. When I used to give the bike to the Honda service center, the average cost of a service was about rupees 500, which included the cost of the engine oil. If you had to change a spare part, then the price would increase. It would go till about rupees 1000, which is still sort of reasonable. Minor things such as washing the bike and lubing the chain and changing air filters and so on, I do myself. One thing to note is that the spare parts cost of Honda, the Honda genuine spare parts, they are priced higher than competitors like Bajaj and TVS. However, there is a lot of cross compatibility between Hero and Honda, so you can get Hero spares which would fit the bike, and their OEM spares, and they would be cheaper than Honda, or else you can go for aftermarket spare parts. But one thing is that the Honda genuine spares are definitely of a higher quality than aftermarket spare parts. So it's sort of like you get what you pay for. Apart from that, the mileage of the bike, I get about 45 to 50 on average. I think it is actually a very good mileage, and it sort of keeps me happy.
Alright, Siddharth. So, do you say that this bike is good as is, or do you have any recommended changes that could make this bike even better?
So one change which I will recommend prospective buyers of this bike is upsizing the rear tire from the stock 110 by 80/17 configuration to 120 by 80/17. So the stock size is anyway not readily available in the market, and you get a much wider choice of tires for 120 by 80/17, and the larger tire fits without any adjustments, and it will improve the handling of the bike as well as the stance and the look of the bike. The second thing which I will recommend to change on the bike is the front headlight bulb. The stock bulbs are from Philips and they are good bulbs, but the intensity of the bulb decreases in a couple of years. You can replace it with another bulb called Awesome Silver Star, which is again a stock replacement, and it has a higher light output, and it complements the reflector also nicely. The third thing which I'll recommend changing on the bike is that on this bike it's absurdly simple to steal petrol from. So if you don't have a secure parking lot for the bike, then I would recommend adding a petrol lock from the aftermarket to prevent petrol theft. Finally, if you want to add functionality to the bike, you can add things such as mobile chargers or auxiliary lights according to your wishes.
Alright, Siddharth. Thank you so much for your valuable inputs.
Thanks a lot, Aarti. It was a pleasure being here, and I hope my feedback would help prospective buyers of this bike.
So guys, that's the Honda CB Unicorn Dazzler for you all. Hope you all liked the video. Do share your comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.